Welcome back to the Unapologetic Truth, the channel where we speak the truth and don't apologize for it. Why? The truth never apologizes. Okay, today we're gonna get to the New World Order, right? A lot of y'all probably know what the New World Order is. A lot of y'all don't. Okay, so let me explain a little bit about the New World Order. The New World Order basically is the global elites, which is the Illuminati, Masons, Knights of Malta, a lot of these different secret societies, which are together with the 13 families, which is the Illuminati at the top, come together, manipulate society into where they can have world governance, world domination, basically. I know some of you guys probably old enough, to know a cartoon back in the days called Pinky and the Brain, where Pinky always say, ask Brain, what are we gonna do today? And Brain always say, what we do every day, try to take over the world. That was an Illuminati cartoon, which that message right there is what they're actually trying to do every single day. They plan and they plan in place every single day to establish the New World Order. One parts of the New World Order is one world government, one world banking system, one world religion, different zones that these elites, these Illuminati, these 13 families will govern. They will establish martial law. They already established a world, monitoring system, which is the cameras they put up all over the earth, in every state, every city, every town, every country, to watch everybody's move, despite it going against the Constitution, which is the right to privacy. Also, they will establish martial law, which is the world police, which is the UN. The UN, contrary to popular belief, was created to be the world police. So we won't have any police officers in states and cities. They would deploy the world police, which is the UN Army. And a lot of the police that we have nowadays would join the UN Army. That's why you see the rapid militarization of the police force in every state, in every city, in every town, right? All right, now this guy right here, my belief is he believes in what's actually happening, but since he's on national television, then he kind of make it seem like he don't believe it, but I believe he does believe it, right? All right, so let's get to it.
I want some adventure in the bed.
Excuse me. I hate when they do commercials, so I'm gonna mute it until the commercial is over. But yeah, if you don't believe in the New World Order, you need to check the facts, man. Check it out yourself, because if you don't understand, you need to do the research. If you don't know, you need to do research. All right, here we go, guys.
New World Order, I think, has its origins in Christian fundamentalist interpretations of the Book of Revelation. It's a conspiracy of elites, global elites, who will plot to take over the earth and establish a dictatorship. And part of that dictatorship will be a one world financial order. So that one world order is a political and economic and religious entity which will come to dominate the earth during the end times, the last days. The concept of the New World Order has roots going back hundreds of years. Ideas of the Illuminati and the Masons, secret societies which were involved, covertly involved in politics, But in the present form, it really takes off after World War II with the establishment of the United Nations. Focus on the TS.
Yes, in the scriptures, it does speaks about the New World Order. It does. Okay? So, a lot of people will try to tell you, oh, it's just a theory. But it's not a theory when it's fact. When you see it, you see it. You see the cameras go up. You see they even got cameras where it's, I can't really explain it, but it's clear as day, like clear, right? Even cameras within the stoplights, street lights, with a microphone so they can hear everything that's going on. Right? All right, let's get back to the video.
TSA comes from a belief that 9/11 attacks were orchestrated as part of a conspiracy to establish a police state, and that police state would begin with safety, public safety, homeland security, forcing us to accept new.
You see the police state. Come on now, the rapid militarization of the police departments all across America. Not just America, but all across the earth. They're using Army tactical weapons. They even got Army fatigues on. They're using weapons, a microwave beam weapon, to make it seem like your skin is boiling, the water inside your body is boiling through your pores, which makes everybody run, which makes the crowd disperse. Let's get back to it.
New kinds of searches and violations of privacy which were never possible before. We have had people believing in these ideas of apocalyptic and conspiracy theories for centuries, but with the internet we have not only a means for the rapid spread of these beliefs, but the hybridization of them, so that they now take many forms. One of the most disturbing aspects of New World Order beliefs is that they're no longer the province of a crackpot fringe. It seems that more and more people on left and right have come to accept this notion that the global elites are manipulating us and taking away our rights and plotting to, or conspiring to, abrogate national sovereignty and establish a one-world state.
Exactly. So, now, we see some of the idealizations, right? Now we're finna get into some of the proof of the New World Order. Alright, so now let's go here, and let's go here.
4 major drivers. There's productivity. In other words, over a period of time, our living standards rise because we learn how to do things better and we get more output per man hour. Then there's cycles, short-term debt cycle, recession, expansion. Economy becomes too weak, inflation is low. Monetary policy creates credit, credit creates demand, and then you have a pickup tightening the monetary policy, and then we have the recession in those cycles. So that's around this productivity. Around that is also a long-term debt cycle, which is an accumulation of these other cycles, in which then there's a cycle which ends largely when you have a situation where you hit 0 interest rates and then you print money and it's not as effective. So we'll talk about that in a second. And then, of course, there's politics. Those are the 4 things. There's internal politics, people at odds, internally and externally. So I think the period that we're in is unique. And let's say we're 10 years into, well, let's take technology. Technology is artificial intelligence and so on is replacing people, and it's great for the whole, but it changes the nature of.
Remember, back in, I say about 3 videos ago, I talked about robots AI, all of this is taking place of humans at their jobs. You're not gonna have jobs. A lot of people, you see it now coming into play with like Walmart going with cashierless lanes, right? Not just Walmart, but other places also. Then in my last video, I showed you how Popeyes is going cashierless. Also, they're going. They're dropping people who was flipping the chicken, checking on the chicken, and replacing them with robots, which is called the flipper. So is burger places. So you're not gonna be having jobs. If you don't have jobs, you're not gonna take care of your family. See, the plan for the New World Order is to destroy the American economy. Destroy the American economy so they can bring in a new world currency. They're destroying all economies across the earth so they can bring in a one world currency. Let's get back to the video.
Of the environment, and that's going to happen. A very important implication in the years ahead. As far as the short-term debt cycle or the business cycle, we're 10 years into this expansion, and many of those stimulants that happen will be dissipating. We won't have more interest rate cuts that are material. You won't have more tax cuts and so on.
Right.
And this is true around the world as we have our obligations. So we're coming into this period that is sort of a big sag, not a debt crisis.
And this is the reason why they're giving you these stimulus packages. Excuse me. This is the reason why they're giving you these stimulus packages. Because in the long run, you thinking it's good right now, but in the long run, interest rates is gonna rise. Not just interest rates, taxes is gonna rise. They're gonna squeeze every little thing out of your pockets. Every little thing. When taxes rises, guess what? When you do your taxes at the end of the year, you're gonna get less and less and less. Just like this year. People got less and less and less than they would in the previous years. So don't be happy they're giving you these stimulus packages. Because in the long run, it's gonna hurt you, and it's gonna hurt the economy really, really bad. We already 17 some odd trillion dollars in debt. When they hit that $20 trillion mark, you're gonna see a big rollback, a big collapse within the economy. Let's get back to the video.
Crisis in that way, but a lot of obligations that are coming at us, particularly in the mature reserve currency countries. And they include pension obligations, healthcare obligations, and the like, large deficits which will have to be monetized. They'll print money to deal with that. There's a reserve.
In other words, you're gonna lose these pensions and all these things you pay into your job to get when you retire. A lot of you gonna lose that. Watch what I tell you.
Reserve currency issue. That also means that if there's stimulative if you get a downturn, you're not going to have monetary policy work the way it did before. That enters the political realm of coordination of fiscal and monetary policy. It's a new world order. As far as
you heard them right. It's a new world order. The new world order already here. They just haven't put everything in place just yet, which they are working on. Let's get back to the video.
So those are the cycle. As far as the politics, naturally, because of this particular dynamic, because of three major factors, there's a wealth gap, a widening wealth gap. And with that, an opportunity gap and a values gap. That's because monetary policy buys financial assets. That makes financial assets go up, and those who have financial assets have a lot of money, a lot of demand. There's technology that's changing that and creating wider spreads. It benefits companies, but it also displaces people, and there's globalization. Those factors.
And it displaces the people. It makes the rich richer, but displaces the people. Do you hear these words this man is saying out his own mouth? Do you hear this man? It displaces the people. Which means you getting poorer and poorer, and they getting richer and richer. Look at everyone that's sitting on this stage. Every one of them are rich. They have financial assets. Like he said, the financial assets goes up for the rich, and it displaces the people. Let's get back to it.
And then, of course, we have the external conflict, or the issues of the rising of a great power in the form of China rising, and the United States having its let's say, relative decline.
There we
so
go.
We're at a point.
There we go.
I think that is very similar to 1944. There's a war. At a war, after a period of war, there's a period which there's a peace, because nobody wants to fight the country that has had won the war, and there's a new world order. And there was a new monetary system in 1944. We established the dollar, reserve currency-based monetary system, and the like. And I think that all of those is going to really change the world order in dramatic ways in the next 10 years.
Within the next 10 years. Within the next 10 years. Listen to this man. He said there was war, and then there was a certain space of peace, and then he said there was a new world order. It's starting over again. We was already in a time of peace. Now war is coming back. War is already here. That's why you see inside jobs like 9/11. You see inside jobs, and then you see the government blaming on a people that had nothing to do with the inside jobs, so they could establish war in that country, so they could establish a new world order. See, that's how they do it. They cause the problem. They put the blame on someone else, and they go in there and they war ravage that place and subjugate that place. Make that place, make that country economy collapse, so they could have to depend on who? America. World War III is coming, but it's not going to be the war that you think it is. The World War III basically is going to be the citizens against each government across the earth. Citizens against citizens, and citizens against governments. It's going to be World War, but that's for another video. You know, that's for another video that I'm gonna produce for you guys, so I can show you proof of that's coming about. All right, so let's get to the next clip. Right, we already see that the American economy is declining. Right, let's get more detail about this.
Consequences of all this stupidity. There's zero chance of taxes going down.
This debt that is building up is like a cancer. It will literally destroy our country from within.
Under the last two administrations, we have seen our national debt quadruple.
Our national debt is reaching a new milestone, topping $22 trillion.
The situation is theoretically soluble, but not practically and realistically soluble.
I do think that we are going to see an evolution in our economic system.
So there are a few things that we can do. We could increase the taxes that people are paying.
Here in California,
Increase the taxes that people are paying. Do you hear this? So if you making, let's say, $1,000 a week, Do you know how much that $1,000 a week you're gonna see? Right now, they're taking at least $200 out of your paycheck, depending on how much you make. But if you're making $1,000, most likely they're taking at least $200 out of your paycheck. Guess how much? Guess how much they're gonna be taking out your paycheck then? At least $400 to $500 out of your paycheck. So you're receiving half the money that you grossed for the week. And that's still not going to be enough to get the economy back to where it was. It's not going to be enough. It's actually going to destroy the economy more, because the more you take from people, the more people will spend less. The more people will become homeless, which means the housing sector will be on a downfall. You see how it trickles down to different things? These people know what they're doing. And they're deliberately doing this to start the New World Order. You have to depend on them. You're going to have to depend on them for everything, for food, for housing, for clothing, any kind of work. Let's get back to the video.
It's outrageous what we're paying.
Burger King is to invert itself as technically a Canadian company so it can pay the lower Canadian tax rates.
Burger King is a victim of the war on success.
At this point, with 50% of the American population being net recipients of benefits from the government, that's only going to go up as the economy deteriorates. I think we're headed toward a genuine crisis, and all you could hope to do is to save yourself from the consequences of all this stupidity.
How do you save yourself? How? By starting your own business. That's how you save yourself. Invest in gold. Don't invest in diamond. If ask any jeweler if they'll be honest. Ask any jeweler. As soon as you buy a diamond and you leave the store with them diamonds, guess what? The price that you bought it for, all of that drops. It's worthless. It's not worth anything. As soon as you leave the store, it's not worth. It's only worth something in the store of what the value they put on it. But as soon as you leave the store, their value decreases dramatically. So if you want to save yourself, guess what you're gonna have to do? You're gonna have to invest in some gold. Gold is the real commodity. Gold is the real money. Gold should be the monetary fund system. So if you want to save yourself, you need to invest in gold. Because this economy is going to crash. It's going to collapse upon itself. Believe that. Let's get to another video. Now we're going to see. Remember I told you about the one world religion, right? All right, now let's find out.
Of the unity of religion agreements. The unity of religion agreement is a groundbreaking promise of religions to unite unconditionally and without discrimination to achieve true peace. I would like to call upon the following religious leaders to come up to the stage and join us for the signing of the ceremony of the Unity of Religions Agreement. First,
already signed into law. Already signed. The one world religion has already signed. It's already begun. You just haven't felt it yet, but you will soon. So your freedom to believe what you believe in is obsolete after this signing. Let's get more information.
Bishop Martin de Jesus Barahona to please come up to the stage. Also, a representative of Holiness Sharukirti Panditak Haryavari Aswam Swati Sri Bataraka to come to the stage.
These are all different religions.
Also, from the Islam Shia faith, El Sharif Muhammad Hassan El Armini to come to the stage. From the Hinduism faith, His Holiness Swami Shidananda Saraswatiji Maharaj, the Guru of India. From the faith of Buddhism, Representative Dr. Ashin Nyanisara, founder of the Sitaku Buddha Vihara. Would you please make your way to the stage? From the Catholic Church, Archbishop Antonio Ledesma from the Philippines. From the Anglican Church, Archbishop Patricio Enrique Viveros Robles.
Now you see, he calling everyone from different religions to come up to sign this document
make your way to the stage, please.
For a one world religion.
From the Jewish faith, Rabbi Jeremy Yehuda Milgrom. From the Zoroaster faith, Dr. Meher Master Moose. And from the Baha'i faith, Dr. Bharati Gandhi. While the proceedings continue on stage, we will conduct the signing ceremony of the agreement to propose the enactment of an international law for the cessation of war and world peace just below stage with our delegations, and to establish peace for the...
Remember, the scripture says, when they should say peace and safety, let me get it for you, because I don't want to just sit here and say what it said and I don't get the whole thing correctly, because you got to read the scriptures as is. Now watch this. All right, here we go. It says, 1 Thessalonians 5:3, verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So we see here that it says when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction. No one's going to be able to escape that sudden destruction. No one's going to be able to escape that sudden destruction. As we see, they saying peace and safety. All through these clips, they kept saying about peace and about safety. All right, let's get it. Let's get back to the video. Oh, wrong one. Wrong one. Sorry about that, guys. It's over here.
Heritage of peace to be brought to all generations. We must do everything in our power to end all wars on this earth and to establish world peace according to the will of the Creator, God. Therefore, all religions must unite under God as one. We pledge in sight of God, all people of the world, and the peace advocate to become under God through the unity of religion.
But what God do they believe in? Because every one of them up there believe in different gods. Buddha is a different God. You know what I mean? They believe in Muhammad and his God, which is the Arabs. You feel what I'm saying? Like, everyone out there has different gods. So what God are they uniting under? Do you see where I'm going with this? What God are they? It's only one true God, but what God are they uniting under? Get back to the clip.
We hereby acknowledge that we must be recreated through God's seed so that we might be recognized as the family of God. And in that likeness, shine an eternal light upon the earth, loving our nations as
Signing
ourselves.
into international law.
We recognize our need for repentance.
One
as
world
well as our
religion,
need to
as
show
you can
grace
see
to
right
the
now.
people of the world. Grace which can be seen in the light, rain, and the air of heaven. And through that grace, lead humanity to salvation from death. We hereby pledge, with all reasonable endeavor, to take on this duty to establish peace and end all wars on this earth, and as a united religion, to leave a world at peace as a legacy for our future generations.
Remember what that verse said.
Considering the grace that we have received,
when they shall
we
say
are
peace and
moved to fully
safety,
carry our filial
then
duty to our
comes sudden
Father.
destruction.
That is, to do whatever we can to make this world one over which God can reign. This we recognize as a task appointed to this generation. We recognize that when religions become united, wars will end, and peace will become to the world. This has been the will of God and the purpose of religion for the past 6,000 years. Therefore, I hereby sign this agreement in sight of God, all people of the world, and peace advocates.
There we go.
La unidad que está germinando en nosotros, la unidad que comienza sellada por un solo bautismo, el que todos tenemos. La unidad que vamos buscando juntos en el camino. La unidad espiritual de la oración. Los unos por los otros, la unidad del trabajo conjunto en la ayuda de los hermanos, de los que creen en la soberanía de Cristo. Queridos hermanos, la desunión es una herida en el cuerpo de la Iglesia de Cristo. Y nosotros no queremos que esa herida permanezca. La desunión es obra del padre de la mentira, del padre de la discordia, que siempre busca que los hermanos estén divididos. Que pese a las diferencias, somos uno.
And let me tell you, don't listen to the Pope when he says that he believes in the God of the Bible, or they're uniting under the God of the Bible. Because we know that the Pope is part of the bloodline of the 13 families, which is the Illuminati. We've heard the Pope before says that Lucifer was a smart man. We heard this out of his own mouth. So I don't believe when he says that they're uniting under the God of the Bible. All right, now let's get to something else. We got one more clip for you guys, man, and I gotta go. Here we go. Now remember I told you about martial law. I told you about martial law. So let's see what they're talking about.
Why is the US government preparing for civil war?
The last Super Bowl was played right here. We're here for drone repair.
Remember, I told you about America is creating a civil war. That would be World War III. And not just here in America, but across the earth. They are sowing discord across the earth.
Daddy, what's martial law?
This summer's apocalypse movies tap current fears, notes Elysium director Neil Blomkamp. His new blockbuster shows America as a third world state. He says this isn't science fiction, this is today, this is now. 2 in 3 Americans now say the country is going the wrong direction. Half of them say it could require armed revolution. The New York Times notes America's prepping movement, people preparing for the worst, has now gone mainstream.
So it's been a corporate takeover, a military-industrial complex so big that if you just take out one underpinning of it too big to fail, the entire system collapses. They essentially called martial law a state of siege in Boston, magnified that.
And you remember that happened when they called martial law. That was just a precursor. That was just practice. When they did that in Boston, that was just practice. That was them doing a test run. That was just a precursor to what's really going to happen. It's going to be on a bigger and wider scale. It's going to be global. But America's going to be worse. If you're not paying attention to what's going on, if your eyes is not wide open, if your eyes is eyes wide shut, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be blindsided. You're not going to know until they kick in your door, until they take you off into these FEMA camps. Let's go back.
In a couple of cities going on at the same time, you're going to see the entire nation break down.
The internet has really ripped off the veil and shown what's going on at the highest levels of power in the U.S. And they openly turned their guns against the American people. And now they have a military command that's aimed at the U.S. in blatant violation of posse comitatus that says that the U.S. military cannot be used in the U.S. against American citizens. That's been thrown out the window now. And they're openly militarizing the police, having the police work with the U.S. military in violation of posse comitatus.
Remember I told you that was militarizing the police so the police can join the One World Army, which is the UN Army. This is where things is heading. And 19, if you know what I'm talking about, is another system. It was fake, believe that. But it's another system to bring fear to the people so they can rely on the government for help. They create the problem and then they create the solution. But it's the solution that you do not want. Believe that. Let's get back to the clip.
And they appear to be getting ready for some kind of civil war, some kind of to intern people. We're in a really dangerous time here in the U.S. The guns of the military are now turned against the American people in a way that just never happened before in history. And these hollow point bullets are illegal to use in warfare, and yet DHS wants these huge numbers of them. You know, they have more than enough to kill off the entire population several times.
The hollow point.
Not just DHS. But the Social Security Administration bought hundreds of millions of these hollow point bullets. What would they need hollow point bullets for? What would the Social Security Administration need hollow point bullets for? They're preparing for an economic collapse to where people would not be able to get their Social Security income checks, or Social Security or SSI checks. People are going to go crazy because they're not going to be able to pay bills or rent or be able to survive. So they're getting ready for this. If you don't believe me, look it up. Social Security bought up 1.something trillion hollow point bullets.
Expands on impact to almost 3 times its size. The expanding effect means that the bullet dumps its power inside the body, damaging more tissue, A larger wound means a greater chance of hitting an organ, cutting nerves, or severing an artery.
It's quite worrisome. I know a lot of people who are getting out of the U.S., and maybe they're the smart ones.
Nationwide protests, hunger strikes, and sit-ins are currently sweeping the United States, notes the website Popular Resistance, but with a corporate media blackout of any news that threatens their paymasters, a more realistic portrait of America today, maybe at the cinema.
Well, Chattanooga's SWAT team now has a new tool to fight crime, a joint grant paid for the Lenco Bearcat for area police. The new armored truck will help law enforcement save lives.
Keene City Councilor Mitchell Greenwald supports the $285,000 federal grant that would buy a Lenco armored vehicle, similar to one of these.
Why would they need armored vehicles here on American soil against the American people? Because they know Americans is not going to tolerate it. They're going to fight back, believe it. There's going to be a fight. There's going to be a war, which is World War III. But there's going to be a war, and they're preparing for this. They're doing everything necessarily possible to prepare for what's going to happen, because they know Americans, they have military weapons. They have grenade launchers and grenades and whatever else the military, they has this. So they're getting ready for this. And I'm pretty sure that it's bomb-proof and bulletproof.
In fact, the City Council already approved it.
The Bearcat has several features designed to help law enforcement. It can fit 10 to 12 fully equipped SWAT members inside. There are slots to shoot chemical agents out of, spotlights, and a faster response time. An outside intercom system allows negotiators to work closer to the action.
Look, guys, the fact of the matter is that while police may still be overstepping their authority in the same way they did 50 or 60 years ago, they certainly...
Why you think that they can kill you? At first it started with African Americans, so-called African Americans. They're killing them and then they get off. They get away with it. Now it's spreading to every other nation of people that's here in America, and they're killing you and they're getting away with it. Trust me, we are under martial law. It's just a soft form of martial law. They haven't pushed it heavy yet. It's a soft form. They really incrementally pushing it upon you so they can desensitize you to the fact that what's going on. So when they do actually push it harder, then you will conform. Either conform or die.
Look a hell of a lot different now. Imagine this scenario. You're sitting in your house, you're kicking back, you're watching TV, and all of a sudden you hear the deafening sound of machine gun fire from low-flying helicopters overhead. You'd probably be a little startled. Hell, you might even think that World War III was going down. Well, the black helicopters flying above might not come as a surprise if you live right here in DC, but if you live in any other U.S. city, this probably isn't norm. That could be changing. Take a look at what happened in Miami last week.
Happening now in downtown Miami, Black Hawk choppers soaring through the night sky, but this is only...
I know some of you remember this. Some of you, a lot of you might not have saw this, but some of you remember this. When they was rehearsing killing people here in America with the helicopters. They had simulation firing.
A drill. Our team's Mike Marza has some pictures for us explaining what's going on. Mike?
Still, if you've seen one of these drills, it really is like a scene out of one of those action movies, choppers stalking the sky in downtown Miami and the like.
Same kind of drills going on in Houston.
With military helicopters flying above her southeast Houston neighborhood, Frances Gerald didn't know what to think.
You know, when you see this, you think the worst. Right. When you hear this, you think the worst.
And so she passed along her concern.
She told me, don't come home because it sounds like we're in a war zone. Guns shooting and helicopters flying around over the house.
So all of this really begs the question, why is the U.S. starting to condition us to be comfortable living in a constant state of...
Conditioning you. Remember I just said that, they're conditioning you. So you will conform. Listen to what this lady just said. They are conditioning you so you can conform. Listen.
Fear, surveillance, and military aggression. What are they really planning for?
And I can tell you right now, well, somebody had the great idea to get rid of the Iraqi army, so when we rebuilt it, we did everything we could to make it as strong as possible. And I'll tell you right now, Homeland Security would kick their butts in a week. What's happening here is we're building a domestic military because it's unlawful or unconstitutional to use American troops on American soil. So what we're doing is we're building a military. My best friend, who's a SWAT officer in Nashua, who came to Iraq with me to train the Iraqi police, sent me an email with a picture of him in the media on the streets of Watertown, Mass, wearing the exact same combat gear that we had in Iraq, only it was a different color. And the way we do things in the military is called task organization. You take a command and then you attach units to it in order to accomplish the mission. What's happening is Homeland Security is pre-staging gear, equipment, consistent. What they're trying to do is use standardized vehicles, standardized equipment. I saw a picture of the Boston Globe during the marathon bombing where there was a state police officer, actually there were two officers, they both had identical helmets, flak jackets, weapons, everything I wore in Iraq, only it was all blue. The officer on one side had a big patch on his back that said Massachusetts State Police. Another officer next to him, his patch said Boston Police. It's what we're doing here, and let's not kid about it. We're building a domestic army, and we're shrinking the military because the government is afraid of its own citizens. The last time more than 10 terrorists were in the same place at one time was September 11th, and all these vehicles in the world would have prevented it, nor would have helped anybody. So I don't know where we're going to use this many vehicles and this many troops. Congress is just one little cog in the wheel. We're building an army over here, and I can't believe that people aren't seeing it. Is everybody blind?
I can't believe that you guys are not seeing this. It's happening right in front of you. And you're going about your day like everything is okay. You're going out to clubs, you're going out, to different places to go have fun, but now it's not the time for fun, man. Now it's the time to wake up and put things into action. Put things into action. I don't know what else to say to you, man. If you're not gonna wake up, then you're gonna be blindsided. I'm just gonna put it out there like that. Period. Man, that's all I gotta say for today, man. Next video, it's gonna be another good one. So stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed, if you're watching my channel, you haven't subscribed, go ahead, man. What are you waiting on? Subscribe, man. Support the truth. Let people. The more people subscribe, the more people like the video. The more people who comment on the video, the more that YouTube will put my video in the suggestions. The more people will see the video, the more the truth will get out there. So subscribe, man. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can get all of my content when I load it up. And thank you all for who did subscribe and who is supporting the channel. I really appreciate it because without you, none of this would be possible for me. So I really thank you guys. That's it, man. Unapologetic truth, the home of the truth. I'm out.